Happy Thursday. I was happy this morning to look outside and see that none of the 4 yards are screaming my name. I did mine yesterday. We're good across the street. I did that one, I don't know, sometime fairly recently and got paid yesterday. That's the next one to do, and it's not shaggy enough for me to go over and do it yet. I know I won't be able to tomorrow. We're going down to Portage Lakes. We're going out on that boat ride again that we did last year a couple times on the pontoon boat, the old man boat as Megan called it. So that'll be fun. I'm not going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to make sure it's not going to rain, and then we're going to go out and hit 500 miles today. We're at 474, I think. So not too long, and we'll hit the big 500. I'm also going to stop in at Lark Motorsport. I had a couple quick questions about the bill that I'm going to present to him, or present questions to him. He already gave me the bill, obviously. And the thing's pretty dirty. Maybe I'll have time to get it back and just do a quick C6. It's covered in pollen and whatnot. We can hear the cicadas. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but every 17 years, these bugs crawl out of the ground, shed their exoskeletons, and then in about 8 weeks, their sole purpose is to mate before crawling back down in the ground for another 17 years. And here's one of them. They're pretty big. I've seen them a lot bigger than that. That's like a little baby one. And they just crawl around. They have these big eyes. And if you can hear that kind of buzzing sound out in the woods, that's the sound they make. And when I was mowing here yesterday, this whole part of the yard was littered in the dead exoskeletons. And usually they end up on the trees, and you can find their shells all over the trees, like there's one there. There's a lot more up higher in the tree. These trees aren't that old though. I mean, they're old in comparison to me. I think we built this house in '86, and they probably planted them around then or before 1990. So that's only like one 17-year cycle, maybe two. But the last time they were out was 1999, and I remember it as a kid because it was just really loud, even more so than now and this year. But 17 years from now, I'll be in California, and this will be long forgotten. So we're documenting. The trees way back in the woods are obviously a hell of a lot older, and that's why the noise is coming from there. You go downtown Hudson, where there's trees that are probably over 100 years old, and they are just crawling. You can barely see the bark. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but it's definitely louder as I walk back here. And you can tell they're out deeper in the woods too, because about 10 years ago we had people come in and thin out everything here in the front. You can't really tell anymore, but they took a lot out. I'm noticing this maple here doesn't look real happy. I'm gonna have to cut off some of these lower dead branches. We got a dead tree back there. There's two dead ones here. They would cost a fortune to take down, and if it were to fall down, it would certainly take part of the garage out. Ken, I'm talking to you through the vlog again. When I added the parts for the washer system, the pump and the grommet and the filter, it did add 1 day to the time on the ECS sword. I apologize for that. I know you're waiting for your aux cable and it's taken forever. It is shipping the 3rd, which is tomorrow, which is Friday. So if it ships Friday at any reasonable time during the day, it'll get to Warrendale, Pennsylvania overnight. I'll get the tracking number. When that comes active, it'll say it'll deliver Monday. And about 75% of the time, when it's a Friday delivering on a Monday through Warrendale, PA, it will deliver on Saturday because it's USPS, and they seem to get stuff through Warrendale really quickly. So I'm hoping we see that deliver on Saturday. Either way, certainly ahead of Timmy Fest, you'll get your aux cable, tail light gasket, and there was something else you had in that order. I don't remember. But next week, I'm going to briefly talk about this, is going to be beyond crazy. Next week kind of starts Timmy Fest. Right now I'm still living my life. But next week gets nuts, preparing for Timmy Fest that following Saturday. So we have this weekend, and a week from this upcoming Saturday, today being Thursday, is Timmy Fest 2016. So ahead of that, we've got people coming in from all over the place. Pennsylvania, California, New Jersey, perhaps Delaware, everywhere. So it's about to get really, really, really hectic. That means I've got to have the car totally ready, which means I need to get the washer system fixed. I want to Z6, Z5, Z6, Z2, Z6, Z8. I'm omitting the clay bar this year. It just doesn't need it. Every other year I've done it because it's been in a body shop and it gets covered in paint overspray. That's not the case this year. It sat in a shop for 3 months. It was really dusty, but that's all been removed and didn't etch the clear coat whatsoever. So it needs the exterior detail. Then Kenan, this is where you come in. It needs the interior detail. That's going to be fun. The leather's pretty dry, so I'm going to need you to get in there and take care of that. I was thinking about pulling the wheels and cleaning the wheel drums. I'm not really worried. They're barrels. I'm not really worried about that. Washer system would be fixed. And then I would love to have it at 1,000 miles by then and have the first oil change, but I doubt that's going to happen. That'll be after Timmy Fest. And then I'm taking a trip on the 15th. Timmy Fest is the 11th. That's a Saturday. The 12th is a Sunday. Most people, I think, are leaving the 13th Monday, and I leave on Thursday or Wednesday, whatever the 15th is. Man, it's going to be crazy. Every day here has to count. So taking a day off today is a luxury. This is probably my last luxury day of not having to do anything too big. But we're going to do it. We've done it every year in the past. It always works out. Another thing that sucks, usually the Friday night before the show, we're able to unwind and relax for the majority of the evening and then try to get to bed early, which never happens. But this year there's an NBA Finals game. I think it's like game 3 or game 4. And I would be damned if I'm not watching that up in the family room. So I'm going to miss those activities. But, you know, priorities. So Joe made it down from North Homestead or Homestead Falls, or sorry Joe, I don't know where you live. And we're at 506 now. We were successful in hitting 500 today. I stopped in Lyric Motorsport. I talked to everybody there. He's got that black M5 in there. They're doing a drive shaft, something, and exhaust, something else, and a UUC clutch. Told him he's never going to be done with the E39 M5. Luke's going in there next week for valve cover gaskets. I think Kevin's going to have him do his center support bearing. But I brought to attention a couple things I noticed on the bill. On the bill that I got from Tom last week, it had the OE rear subframe or rear diff mounts as well as the power flex on there. So it was just an error because they ported everything over from the Estimate, which had the OEs, and then we decided to go with the power flex later. And then he also had on there the center support bearing, but I had supplied that. So he wrote me a check for that, which I will deposit. So that's good. And now I'm gonna go get some lunch with Joe, and then I think we're gonna go out and drive a little more today. Tonight I will probably clean this car up. And then Cavaliers, Joe's waving. And then Cavaliers at Golden State in Oakland, California tonight, Game 1 NBA Finals. Alright, so Joe just veered out of the lane to the left ahead of me in the S4. And I'm like, what is this about? And then I see there's a goose. There's a goose and a bunch of ducklings following that goose in the middle of the road. So I am going to, for the purposes of this vlog and your entertainment, try to source those clips from the dash cam to insert here. Out of focus. Lovely. Muffler. Let's stop. Lunch with Joe at Panera. We hung out there on the patio for a little bit, talked. Younger guy driving that E60 M5 with temp tags on it, so hopefully that's new to town. We'll see that around a little bit. Both ECS orders shipped today. I had replaced, I told you guys before, so I'll be quick. This hose here, and this one here was supposed to be delayed until the 23rd, and it shipped today, so go figure. That's ECS's timetables for you. Can't say I'm complaining about it though. So we should have that by Monday at the latest, potentially Saturday, potentially tomorrow. So we'll get that done, and then everything under the hood's done. Kenan has a taillight gasket, wiper blades, and an auxiliary input kit coming. I have transmission fluid reservoir bushings, a couple other random ass parts, a liter of oil in there just in case I want to have one in the trunk while I'm driving it with the 530. in there. The washer fluid pump and grommet. And I've come to the conclusion this is going to be good enough, so we'll test that whenever the parts come in. Tomorrow's going to be fun. I'm kind of taking a day off. I'm very stressed with everything coming up. So we're going out on the lakes tomorrow, Portage Lakes. We rented a boat like we did last year a couple times, so Alex is coming over. We're going to go do that for the afternoon. Saturday we'll resume with yard work, car work, housework. I got a yard to do across the street for sure. Kennan's going to condition and clean my interior. And I've got to get a coat of wax on the car sometime next week and get all 4 yards done. I may or may not change the oil filter. I have the filter and the housing cap there. I don't know. It's been 500 miles. I could put it in there. It wouldn't hurt anything. I might or might not do that. I don't know yet. Kenan came over for NBA Finals Game 1. Watch Cleveland get blown out by Golden State's bench. Man, if they play like that, it's going to be a short series. That was very difficult to watch. Down 20 points in the fourth quarter. But Cleveland was shooting 30-something%, Golden State probably 60 or 70-something%, so just terrible defense, and then terrible defense leads to terrible offense. So we'll hope for a change in Game 2 in a couple of days. But I'm going to go and shower and get to bed. Tomorrow's going to be fun, out on the lake all day, probably get a nice sunburn going on. But hey, it's summer, that's what summer's about. And then things get really crazy next week. I keep talking about it, but man, it's a lot of work to prepare for this. So I'm going to go rest up. Actually, we got a couple things going on. Today I did a ton of like defragmenting. There's been so much shit laying around the house that needed to be dealt with, put away, organized, otherwise taken care of. And I've gotten the majority of that done today. Recycled a bunch of stuff. That table tennis ping pong table in the basement, it's been sitting there taking up space forever. We're moving shortly, and as my dad said, it's not going to fit in his basement in San Diego. If you're familiar, you open the door under the steps that go upstairs, and it is a closet big enough for a couple jackets, a vacuum cleaner, and I think he's got 2 pairs of skis in there. But we come down in the basement now, and there's a lot more room. There's no more table tennis table, so that really opens this up. That's nice. I got to help Brad carry it up the steps today. That was fun. That thing's really heavy and, you know, awkward. It's large to move. But I vacuumed everything down here, all these rooms out, and it's way nicer now. So we got this cleaned up, lots more space. I feel good about that. Tomorrow we're moving Megan into her, I rented a house up by college, so we're going to take all of this stuff, put it in Kennan's van. That'll be out of here and help her move in tomorrow night. It's going to be a fun day tomorrow, and then a little bit of work in the evening, no big deal. But I need to sleep, so I'll talk to you guys tomorrow on Friday. Hope your week's going well. Good night.